Imagine a kingdom nestled high in the Himalayas, a place of breathtaking mountains and serene monasteries. This is Bhutan. For centuries, its people traded without coins. They used a barter system. Rice, butter, cloth, and even salt were their currency. This system worked for a small, isolated society. But as the world changed, Bhutan needed to change with it. A new era was dawning, one that required a more standardized form of exchange. The simple act of trade was about to be transformed by the humble power of metal. The story of Bhutan's first coins begins in the 18th century. It wasn't a grand centralized project at first. Local rulers and powerful monasteries saw the need for something more practical than bags of rice. They looked to their neighbors, Tibet and the princely states of India, like Kuch Behar. These places had been using coins for a long time, so the Bhutanese began to strike their own. They used copper, a metal that was readily available and durable. These early coins were often crude, hammered by hand, each one a little different from the next. They were a simple solution to a growing problem. These first copper coins were known as Ma Trum, which means not Tibetan coin. The name itself tells a story of identity. Bhutan wanted to assert its independence, even in its currency. While they borrowed the idea from their neighbors, they were determined to make it their own. These coins weren't just for buying goods. They represented a step towards a unified Bhutanese state. A small piece of copper carried a big message. We are a distinct people, a unique kingdom with our own way of doing things. It was a quiet declaration of sovereignty, one that could fit in the palm of your hand. The process of making these early coins was a marvel of low-tech ingenuity. Craftsmen would heat a piece of copper until it was soft. Then, using a hammer and a simple die, they would strike it. The die was often just a piece of hardened metal with a basic pattern carved into it. This resulted in coins that were often off-center, with uneven thickness and blurry designs. But their imperfections are what make them so fascinating to us today. They are tangible links to a time when a kingdom was finding its footing, creating its first universal language of value from the very earth beneath its feet. As Bhutan grew more unified under its spiritual and political leaders, so did its coinage. The scattered local minting efforts slowly gave way to a more organized system. By the 19th century, the central government began to take more control over coin production. This was a crucial step. A unified currency helps to unify a nation. It makes trade easier across different valleys and regions. The coins started to look more consistent. They were still made of copper, but the designs became more deliberate, more symbolic of the nation as a whole. The designs on these coins began to tell a story. Instead of just random patterns, they started to feature symbols that were deeply meaningful to the Bhutanese people. You could find the Dharma wheel, a powerful Buddhist symbol representing the path to enlightenment. Other coins featured auspicious symbols like the endless knot or the conch shell. It was as if the kingdom's spiritual beliefs were being stamped directly onto its economic life. Every transaction, no matter how small, became a tiny reminder of the values that held their society together. The coins were no longer just money. They were miniature works of art and faith. The 20th century brought even more significant changes. In 1928, under the first king of Bhutan, Ugyen Wangchuck, the kingdom began minting its first modern machine-struck coins. This was a huge leap forward. The coins, now called Mule Trum or silver coin, though the copper ones were called Pais or Tikchum, were uniform in size and weight. The hand-hammered irregularities of the past were replaced by the precision of the machine age. This shift mirrored Bhutan's own journey as it began to open up, cautiously, to the outside world and embrace new technologies. This modernization didn't mean Bhutan lost its unique identity. Far from it. The new machine-made coins continued to feature distinctly Bhutanese designs. The royal crest, Dzong architecture, and Buddhist symbols remained prominent. Compare this to many other countries in Asia during the colonial era. Their coins often featured the portraits of foreign monarchs or symbols of colonial power. Bhutan, which was never colonized, maintained its cultural sovereignty on its currency. Its coins were a proud declaration of its independence, a small but powerful statement in a rapidly changing world. Each coin was a piece of Bhutan for Bhutan. The designs on Bhutanese copper coins are a window into the soul of the nation. They are not just pretty pictures, they are a complex language of symbols. One of the most common is the set of 8 auspicious symbols of Buddhism, known as the Tashi Tagye. These include the parasol, the golden fish, the treasure vase, the lotus, the conch shell, the endless knot, the victory banner, and the wheel. Finding these on a coin was like carrying a blessing in your pocket. It was believed to bring good fortune not just to the holder, but to the entire kingdom. There's a fascinating story tied to the coin known as the Chetram. In the mid-19th century, during a period of internal conflict, a particular coin was struck that was debased with a lot of iron. It was of very poor quality. People disliked it and gave it the nickname Ngultrum Jabi, meaning useless coin. This shows how the physical quality of a coin could directly impact its public perception and value. It wasn't just about the government's stamp of approval. The people had to trust the metal itself. This story reminds us that currency is a social contract, a relationship built on trust between the rulers and the ruled. Unlike coins from, say, China or India, which often featured emperors or historical events, Bhutanese coins remained deeply rooted in spirituality and nature. You won't find the faces of warrior kings or depictions of great battles. Instead, you find symbols of peace, enlightenment, and the natural world. This reflects a core aspect of Bhutanese philosophy, a worldview that prioritizes spiritual well-being and harmony with the environment over conquest and material wealth. Their copper coins were not monuments to power, but reminders of purpose. Another interesting aspect is the script. The coins feature Dzongkha script, the national language of Bhutan. This was another way of reinforcing national identity. In a region where many different scripts and languages coexisted, using their own unique script was a powerful statement. When you hold one of these copper coins, you're holding a piece of Bhutanese literature, a single word or phrase that connects you to the kingdom's rich linguistic heritage. It's a fusion of economics, art, religion, and language, all packed into a small metallic disc. So, what happened to all these copper coins? As Bhutan's economy continued to develop in the late 20th century, the role of the humble copper coin began to change. With the introduction of the Ngultrum as the official currency in 1974, pegged to the Indian rupee, higher denomination coins and paper money became more common. The small copper and bronze coins, like the 5 and 10 Chetram, were slowly phased out of daily active circulation for larger purchases. They became the small change, the coins you'd use for tiny transactions or receive back at a shop. Today, if you visit Bhutan, you are less likely to encounter these older copper coins in your daily life. Modern alloys have largely replaced pure copper in the coins that are still minted for circulation. However, the old copper coins have not disappeared. They have embarked on a new journey, a journey from the marketplace to the collector's album. Numismatists, or coin collectors, from all over the world are fascinated by them. They are drawn to their unique, non-symmetrical designs, their deep spiritual symbolism, and the story they tell of a kingdom that has always walked its own path. For collectors, the value of these coins is not just monetary. The hand-hammered ma trums from the 18th and 19th centuries are especially prized for their rustic charm and historical significance. Each one is unique, a testament to the individual craftsman who made it. They are artifacts of a pre-industrial age. Even the machine-struck coins from the 20th century are sought after, as they document Bhutan's careful and deliberate modernization. Collecting these coins is like assembling a timeline of a nation's history, told not in words, but in metal. The legacy of Bhutanese copper coins is a beautiful metaphor for the kingdom itself. They started as a simple, practical tool, born of necessity. Over time, they absorbed the nation's spiritual and cultural identity, becoming intricate symbols of what it means to be Bhutanese. And now, in our modern digital age, they have transformed again into cherished relics of a fascinating past. They remind us that even the smallest objects can contain the grandest stories, connecting us across time and space to the heart of the land of the Thunder Dragon.